For the president of Students for Life of America and Students for Life Action, Kristen Hawkins.
Thank you. Today, we have the privilege to celebrate a moment so many worked for and prayed for. The end of Roe v. Wade. The 49 years of terror that took more than 60 million lives. But when that great injustice, that great evil of Roe v. Wade ended, we knew it was not the end of our struggle to make abortion unthinkable and unavailable. It was simply a new beginning. And for such a time as this, that today we are here at our nation's capital for the National Celebrate Life Rally and America's largest diaper drive ever to demand that Congress finally defunds Planned Parenthood and all abortion vendors of our forced taxpayer dollars as the first step to restoring a culture of life. We are here to tell those senators meeting today, possibly voting today, that your job is not done, just like how our job is not done. Right now, we are poised to cut the majority of taxpayer dollars from big abortion and Planned Parenthood, kicking them out of the federal health care system to ensure mothers and preborn babies both survive their medical appointments. But we just heard that the unelected Democrat-appointed Senate parliamentarian may have weakened the provision in President Trump's big, beautiful budget reconciliation bill from 10 years to 1 year. Planned Parenthood admits, brags about killing more than 400,000 preborn babies every year. Today, these 400,000 diapers that pro-lifers across America generously purchased to be here on display, they are a memorial to show Congress the price of their continued inaction. They're a reminder. Actually, there are 392,000 reminders of their inaction. We said a picture is worth 1,000 words. Today, it's worth 392,000 words. One diaper for every child Planned Parenthood aborted last year. Imagine, these diapers should not be here. Instead, they should be wrapped on the cute little butts of precious little girls and little boys that were taken from us from America's abortion Goliath. But these diapers are more than just a memorial. They're also our mission, as that's what the pro-life movement has been doing for the past 3 years since the fall of Roe. We show up every day in our communities, at our pregnancy centers, on our college campuses, ending discriminatory policies, serving women and families with real health care, and showing her we care more than Planned Parenthood. Today, after this rally, I'm honored to say we're donating all of these diapers, plus the ones in the U-Hauls down the street, to those children who survived Planned Parenthood's abortion sales teams. This is why, at Students for Life, we've been proud to lead the charge to defund Planned Parenthood since we launched 19 years ago, and why we've been mobilizing since election night. That's why we've rallied at more than 100 Planned Parenthood locations this March. That's why you all have been door knocking, visiting your U.S. senators, visiting our U.S. congressmen at their home district offices. That's why you've been making calls and text messaging every single day. It's why you have been nonstop, because it's time to end this violence. We know Planned Parenthood isn't just killing 392,000 children a year. According to HHS, they are now the leading distributor of wrong-sex hormones, which are sterilizing gender-confused young people. This is a billion-dollar corporation where their very own clinic directors reported to the pro-abortion New York Times of having open sewage and filthy conditions inside of their clinics, complaining that instead of even trying to pretend to help women, they spend their money funding Democratic politicians. So now, the Republican-led Congress must finish this fight so we can move on to our next step, which is government debarment of Planned Parenthood. A process will strip them of 100% of their taxpayer funds, making them unqualified for even a penny of our dollars. And there's a lot to investigate there. Even the New York Times says Planned Parenthood is in trouble. Even Planned Parenthood's own workers admit Planned Parenthood isn't doing good business. Planned Parenthood kills 392,000 precious babies every year. Planned Parenthood is sterilizing our youth generation. Planned Parenthood is one of the leading abortion lobbyists in the Democratic Party. Planned Parenthood needs to go fund themselves. Thank you.
Please give a warm welcome to the president and co-founder of EveryLife, the first and only pro-life diaper company, Sarah Gable Seifert.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you. I actually want to open with a quote from Mother Teresa that has shaped my heart and my mission. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. So simple, yet so profound. If our nation only cherished families, honored marriage, celebrated children, and kept God at the center, we would stand resilient against darkness and chaos. When God is at the heart of our homes, our churches, our country, we become a nation destined for strength, stability, and blessing for generations to come. I think Vice President J.D. Vance said it best at the National March for Life this year. He stated, "I want to see more children in the United States of America." And so do I. Because children are not a burden. They are our hope and our future. There is no greater calling than to be a parent. No greater joy than raising the next generation to stand for truth, life, and biblical values in a culture that desperately needs it. Genesis 1:28 declares, "Be fruitful and multiply." I want to see more young children, more young people boldly living out this God calling, because we want to see more moms and dads in this world, not less, choosing life every single day. As a former pregnancy resource center director, I've met with so many mothers, and I've never heard one say, "I regret having my child." Never. But I have sat with countless women in tears saying they regret their abortion and would give anything to go back and choose differently. We cannot stay silent while the culture of death is feeding women lies that abortion is the solution. Since Roe v. Wade, over 63 million lives have been lost. And though Roe v. Wade has been overturned, praise God, the fight continues. Just last year alone, as Kristen said, Planned Parenthood ended over 392,000. That's why I'm standing here today. For those of you who I haven't met, my name is Sarah Gable Seifert, president and co-founder of EveryLife, the first and only pro-life diaper company on the market today. Thank you. We launched EveryLife because, believe it or not, every major diaper company on the market today, from Huggies to Pampers to Hello Bello, the list goes on, is either vocally or financially supporting abortion. Can you believe that? It makes no sense. Some are even matching employee contributions to Planned Parenthood and paying for their employees to go travel and abort their babies. We could not stay silent. Our mission is simple: to provide high-performing premium diapers for every miraculous life, because we know every child is a gift from God, deserving of love, protection, and celebration. Thank you. Today, we've placed 392,715 EveryLife diapers on Capitol Hill. This doesn't even display it all, to represent every life lost last year through Planned Parenthood. And we should pause and really let that sink in. It's devastating and heartbreaking. Not only is this a powerful visual, but we will be handing these products out to families who need them most. Anything left over is going to go to local pregnancy centers and churches. So we can be an example of what it looks like to support moms and dads with the essentials they need. Because this isn't just a movement about standing against abortion. It's about what we stand for. We stand for women, we stand for children, and we stand for life. And we don't just talk about it, right? We act on it. This diaper drive is a living, breathing display of that truth. It declares to the world that the pro-life movement provides and protects and shows up for mothers who need support and love. Proverbs 38:8 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves." This is our holy mandate. So today, I pray that each of you standing here has a fresh fire that's ignited in you because God has you here for a reason, for such a time as this. With your prayers, with your influence, with your voice, He wants to use you to help save lives, and He already is. Because if not you, then who? This isn't just a cause, it's God's heart. Let's be a generation that chooses life, champions families, and leaves a legacy of hope. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Please give a warm welcome to the President and CEO of Sidewalk Advocates for Life, Lauren Muzica.
Howdy, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. As the president and CEO of the nation's largest peaceful sidewalk outreach organization on the front lines of abortion facilities day in and day out, I cannot say it enough. It is time to defund America's abortion empire, Planned Parenthood. I want everyone to hear this. This is absolutely unbelievable. Planned Parenthood's own annual report admits that 97% of all pregnant women who darken the doors of a Planned Parenthood facility are sold an abortion. We are encountering hundreds and thousands of women who went to Planned Parenthood to obtain an ultrasound and were turned away because they didn't want an abortion. Meanwhile, Planned Parenthood is shoving $5,000 and $10,000 trips at women to go across state lines to take the lives of their innocent children. Their recent decisions to close health centers and reduce health services make it plain that Planned Parenthood values its abortion business over women's health. Total cancer screening and prevention services have dropped by 54%, including declines of 61% for breast exams, 54% for Pap tests, and very telling, prenatal services are down 63%. So what is Planned Parenthood actually doing for American women? Truly, their tagline should change from care no matter what to abortion no matter what. Planned Parenthood is still infecting pro-life states like Texas and Tennessee with abortion referral facilities, centers serving as a gateway to Planned Parenthoods in another state where abortion is legal. Planned Parenthood will readily arrange travel hundreds of miles away to kill a preborn child, but doesn't care what happens to mom afterwards. To give one example, I personally connected with a young woman from Texas who was sent hundreds of miles away to Boulder, Colorado for her abortion. And she had to sit bleeding for hours on the bus ride back home. When she got back to Texas, she was sent to the ER not once, but twice. If Planned Parenthood cared about women, they'd be asking obvious questions like, how can a doctor detect a dangerous ectopic pregnancy? Or even confirm how far along she is via a video call. Shipping out abortion pills to women to turn their bathrooms into abortion facilities shows nothing but carelessness and callousness and underscores their agenda of abortion no matter what. And nothing demonstrates their agenda more than the heinous spectacle at the Democratic National Convention last summer, sending a van to provide free abortions and free vasectomies. Yes, aboard a van just outside the DNC. They treated abortion like a joke, dancing around in huge abortion pill costumes with a hot dog and taco truck in tow. A repulsive political play that turned a serious election week into an abortion festival. Friends, it is time to stand up and say, this is not health care. This is not care at all. This is a profit-focused, emotionless behemoth built on the backs of American taxpayers, including all of us who believe in the inherent dignity of the human person, the right to life of every individual, and the evil of abortion. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year have poured into Planned Parenthood from our wallets, and the time to end the financial hemorrhaging is now. Together, yes. Together, we stand in support of women who need our help. We stand together in support of preborn babies who deserve a chance at life. And we stand together and demand that our taxpayer dollars no longer fund the abortion empire. Friends, it is time to tell Congress, pass that big, beautiful budget bill, and let's defund Planned Parenthood once and for all. Thank you so much.
Please put your hands together for our keynote speaker and special guest for the day, 12-time All-American swimmer with 5 SEC titles and a hero for women everywhere, Riley Gaines.
Well, thank you guys. Let me tell you just how incredible it is to look out and see so many young people, specifically young women. Maybe the intention is, of course, for us to inspire you all. But I'll speak personally. It's this right here that inspires me. So thank you. Look, I'm here today not just as an advocate for truth or as someone who is deeply concerned about the direction of our country, but as a new mom to be. My husband and I, we are 7 months pregnant with a little baby girl. But that's simple truth. A baby girl has never felt more politically charged or under attack than it has these past few years. We are living in a time where we're told that womanhood, it's a feeling, not a fact, where men can identify into our spaces, into our sports, our scholarships, our sororities, our prisons, our domestic violence shelters. And too often, our silence as women is demanded in the name of tolerance or inclusion. But it's not tolerance. It is erasure, and what's worse is that this ideology, the one claiming that gender is fluid and biology is irrelevant, has direct roots in the same worldview that fuels the abortion epidemic. Both movements share a common lie, that our bodies, especially women's bodies, are disposable, are malleable, and ultimately meaningless as anyone can claim to be what they wish to be. Abortion says life in the womb is only valuable if it's wanted. Gender ideology says a woman is only a woman if she feels like one. Neither recognizes the inherent dignity, the design, and the worth that come with being created male and female, as our Creator intended, or with carrying a child. The heart of both of these lies, profiting from both of these lies, is Planned Parenthood. This organization, they're not a champion for women as they claim to be. It's a business, one that has made over $1.9 billion in total revenue last year alone. And $792 million of that come from you and me, our taxpayer dollars. Think about that. While families all over the country, while they struggle to afford groceries or rent or gas, we are being forced to fund an organization that terminates nearly 400,000 babies every single year and pushes radical gender ideology onto vulnerable children. Planned Parenthood, they claim to fight for reproductive health. But let's all be honest with ourselves. This is not health care. It's harm. It is profit off of confusion, off of fear, off of insecurity, off of vulnerability, off of pain. They encourage minors to go on puberty blockers, to get abortions, to sterilize their bodies, often without parental consent, all under the guise of choice. But what kind of choice is it when it's rooted in lies? When Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry tell women that their babies are just clumps of cells, or that they're just a lump of tissue, what they're doing is something actually far more sinister than lying. They are severing the natural connection between a mother and her child. They are normalizing violence against the most vulnerable and calling it a choice. But no mother that I know, no real advocate for women wants her empowerment to come at the cost of her own child's life. And so let me be very, very clear. What Planned Parenthood is selling, it's not compassion. Again, it's fear. It's convenience dressed up as freedom. It's a billion-dollar business that profits, again, off panic, off vulnerability, off insecurity, not empowerment. And here's why this matters to me personally, now more than ever. Because, again, in just a few short weeks, my husband and I were bringing a little daughter into this world, a little girl who I've already heard her heartbeat. She kicks inside of me, and who, according to some people in power, could be aborted at this very stage of development, or raised to believe that she's not really a girl at all. And I'm not okay with that. I refuse to let my daughter grow up in a world that tells her she has to apologize for being female, or pretend that biology is bigotry, or that life only matters if it's convenient. The future that I want for my daughter is one that's rooted in truth, where women are honored, not erased, where motherhood is celebrated, not treated like a burden, and where every single human, no matter how small or how dependent, is protected, not discarded. We are in a battle, not just for policy, but for culture, for the language that we use, for how we communicate with each other, for what it means to be human. And I'm in this fight now with a new fire that has been lit underneath me. Again, not just as a woman or as an advocate or as an athlete, but as a mom. So to those in power, stop forcing Americans to fund Planned Parenthood's agenda. Stop gaslighting our daughters. And to every single person, every single woman listening, do not be silent. Your voice matters. Your body is not a mistake, and your children, both born and preborn, deserve to grow up in a world that values the truth. So I am fighting for my daughter's future. Will you fight for yours? Will the lawmakers in the building behind me fight for their kids' future? Because if so, if their answer is yes, then they will make every single effort they can to defund Planned Parenthood. Thank you, guys.
It is my pleasure to introduce the president of the Vitae Foundation. Please welcome Brandy Meeks.
Hey, everyone. Okay, so look at this. I want you to look at something with me. We are out here collecting, how many diapers we have? Like hundreds of thousands of diapers here and over in the U-Haul over here. And guess what? While we've been doing that, Planned Parenthood has been collecting just our tax dollars, right? Are we okay with that anymore? Absolutely not. Guys, I told you yesterday, if our actions do not reflect, or I'm sorry, if our actions do not match our loudly proclaimed values, then they're not really our values, right? So guess what? This is our action right here, and it is definitely matching our values, right? But guess what? Planned Parenthood, they seem to say that they care about women. Do their actions match what they claim as their values? No. Absolutely not. And while we're grateful for the Dobbs decision, we're grateful for the progress to defund Planned Parenthood. But friends, we have a mission that is still in front of us. We're not done yet. We have a culture to change. I want to leave you with 3 C's today. They are compassion, courage, and consistency. That's what it's going to take to turn this around. Beyond Planned Parenthood being defunded, beyond the Dobbs decision, we have a job to do. Starting with compassion, we have to love people enough to tell them the truth, right? Tell them the truth about abortion. Tell them the truth about human dignity. But it has to be framed right. The delivery is everything. And our research at Vitae Foundation shows that they have framed us, pro-lifers, as people who will shame and badger women. They've actually tried to make Planned Parenthood be this safe haven for women. When they call in, they're telling them, hey, there are all these people out on the sidewalk, and they're going to shame, and they're going to yell at you, and they hate you. Guys, we have to be that safe place for them to land. We have to keep that in mind with every image that we hold, with every post that we make online. Guys, screenshots are forever, And we have to remember that. We have to lead with love. Whether you find yourself in a Catholic church, a Protestant church, or no church, we should all be able to agree that love for human beings is a common denominator for all of us. It is the common thread, right? But we also must remember that love without truth is simply hypocrisy. So we need compassion and we need courage. We need the courage, the kind that transforms generations like this one over here. The kind that absolutely requires sacrifice and self-discipline beyond what seems humanly possible. Because it's not actually humanly possible to have the amount of fierce courage needed to end abortion without strength and wisdom from our Heavenly Father. We are not in this alone, am I right? Courage. We need courage, friends. Courage to tell people the truth. Again, courage to love people enough to tell them the truth about abortion. Courage for women to choose life despite difficult circumstances. Courage for men to step into their roles as fathers, guys. Courage to get uncomfortable doing the hard things as leaders. Courage for our donors to give sacrificially even when it hurts. Courage to protect our nation's core values. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Courage is the answer. So compassion, courage, and consistency. I often say, again, if your actions do not match your values, your loudly proclaimed values, then guys, they're not really our values. We have to remember that. We can talk about this all day long, but unless we are showing up to back that up with our actions, like collecting all these diapers and showing up to help women and men and families day in and day out, then it's just simply not enough. You don't really value the things that you don't have the actions to back up. We have to be consistent in the way that we walk and in the way that we talk. Friends, compassion, courage, and consistency every single day. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming Chief Communications Officer at Patriot Mobile and Executive Director of Patriot Mobile Action, Lee Wamsgons.
Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and we are unashamed to stand with you today in our nation's capital and proclaim life. The most basic human right is life. We are so passionate about protecting life that we made it one of our 4 pillars of giving. Thank you. In our 12 years of existence, we have given over $2 million to pro-life organization, and we're not stopping. The ProLove movement is growing. Our young people over here are physical evidence of that. You're just like oil to my soul to see all of you young people standing for life. We appreciate you. Keep fighting. Stay in the fight. There are over 2,700 crisis pregnancy centers in America, and there are over 50,000 pro-life volunteers working in these crisis pregnancy centers. Today's pro-life heroes provide housing, medical care, counseling, job training, child care. This is being the hands and feet of Jesus. The pro-life movement is the pro-love movement. Take the true meaning of love back. Speaking truth is love. We're saving babies. We are helping those mamas. And we know the true choice, the real choice is life. Once a woman has an abortion, her choices are over. And that baby's choices are over. That is no choice. At any given time in America, there are over 2 million couples waiting, wanting to adopt a baby. That means for every 1 baby available for adoption in the United States, there are 36 families waiting for it. And I'm told those families are waiting 2 to 7 years to get a baby. Friends, there's no reason for adoption. No child should ever die. There is no reason for it. And there is absolutely no reason, not one penny of our tax dollars should go to this brutal, barbaric practice of abortion. God makes every life, and at Patriot Mobile, we know our preborn patriots have a biblical and a constitutional right to life. We are standing, can you imagine? I know, especially all you kids, you have cell phones. We are a company that gives. We give a portion of every dollar we earn. Can you imagine with every call and every text, instead of funding corporations that fund abortion, you could be funding Patriot Mobile and saving babies with every call or text. Most of these organizations on this stage today, some of them last night, we contribute to. You can go to patriotmobile.com and scroll through who we give to, and that's just a portion of the pro-life organizations we give to. We would love for you to join us in this mission, and I want you to ask every company, where your mortgage company, where you get coffee, that'll be interesting in some of them, where you go buy your everyday things, because the left is pushing their agenda on all these corporations. The right needs to have more courage to say, hey, why aren't you funding life? Why are you funding abortion? And we have to speak truth to power. Every single legislator represented, there are thousands represented by all of the citizens today. Every single legislator needs to hear from you, and they need to know we will not back down, because we will stand in the gap for these innocent babies who don't have a voice. We will be their voice. And at the end of the day, we know God creates life. We answer to Him, not government, not culture. We will always stand for life. We would love for you to join us. Thank you.
It is an honor to introduce our next speaker, mother, author, and podcast host, also known as the activist mommy, Elizabeth Johnston.
Hello. It has been the privilege of my life to be the mother of 10 children. Yes, you heard that right, and yes, I know what causes it. For 2 decades, I've pushed strollers and carried my baby's bottles and sippy cups out to the gates of hell to save babies from abortion. What are the gates of hell, you ask? The sidewalks of American abortion centers, where approximately 3,000 babies are killed every day. Could there be a darker place? We've seen post-abortive women vomiting in the parking lot, women carried off by ambulances, women fleeing the abortion center after their pimp drove them off. We've seen parents drive in to kill their baby with their other 3 children in the back seat of the car with them. Couples fighting in the car about whether their child would live or die. And even women dancing in the parking lot to party music while they wait for their appointment to take the life of their child. We've been insulted and cursed at by abortion doctors and workers, and also helped abortion workers leave the industry to find honorable jobs. With God's help, we've convinced many women to choose life for their child, paid their rent, found them jobs, hosted their baby showers, driven them to doctor's appointments, and brought them into the home for Christmas. After seeing the devastation of abortion up close for over 2 decades, I can tell you with certainty that abortion is truly evil. It not only kills a baby, it kills everything in its wake. It destroys the legacy that that child would have left. It wounds the mother and the father, and dangerously enables traffickers, abusers, and predators to erase the evidence of their crime after they pleasure themselves with women while taking no responsibility for their sexual sin. As we are rallying here in D.C., and prodding our legislators to defund Planned Parenthood, let's not forget that regardless of what our elected officials choose to do about Planned Parenthood, God has given us a job to do as well. The Bible doesn't say the gates of hell will not prevail against Congress. It says the gates of hell will not prevail against what? The church. And if we're honest, the real reason Planned Parenthood remains open is not because of what is taking place here in D.C., but it is because the church does not really behave like babies are being killed every day. We say abortion is murder, but we do not act like abortion is murder. I am guilty too. Who among us is willing to sacrifice something to end this Holocaust? One man who sacrificed much was named David Daleiden, and his sacrifice changed my life. Most of you have probably seen those undercover Planned Parenthood videos exposing the calloused way this evil organization takes our tax dollars, dismembers little babies, and was caught red-handed selling their body parts for even more profit to be used for experimentation. Many of you are probably angry about that. You should be, but being angry is not enough. You may be grieved, and you should be, but being grieved and angry and having good intentions will not end this bloodshed. As missionary David Livingstone said, sympathy is no substitute for action. Posting on Facebook and Twitter about Planned Parenthood is good, but doing nothing more is like a Christian German shaking his head about the extermination of Jews, yet never lifting a finger to rescue them as they were kidnapped and killed right under their noses. We can't just come today, hold our signs, pat ourselves on the back, and forget about the unborn tomorrow. Women show up Monday through Saturday for abortions. So the church should also show up Monday through Saturday to provide real solutions and to minister the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is the only hope for these women. If you want to be used by God, I have a perfect mission field for you, and it is the Planned Parenthood closest to you. Teenage boys are going there in droves to get protection from the consequences of premarital sex. You can minister to them, men. Fathers are driving their wives there. You can minister to them. Lawn workers, linen delivery drivers, drug pimps are pulling into Planned Parenthood, and you can be the hands and feet of Jesus to them. Moms are driving up and saying, God, I know I shouldn't do this. Could you please give me a sign? Will you be that sign? The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are very few. Please find a Planned Parenthood near you. Pray and offer help to the hurting. Once you witness a baby saved from abortion, and see that baby 6 months later that would have been executed in cold blood, you can never unsee it. It will change your life forever. And lastly, as we approach the 250th anniversary of our young nation, it is imperative to remind ourselves that a nation that kills its children will not last long. There is an ash heap of civilizations like the Mayans, Aztecs, Romans, and many more that practiced child sacrifice. Our memory of them is not their glory, but their inhumanity. May we never get so haughty to think that God owes America his goodness and mercy. The shedding of innocent blood invites God's judgment. By our actions here today and every day, we are standing in the gap for our nation in this spiritual battle. Thank you for being here today. Keep standing. Keep prodding your legislators. Never give up. Keep fighting for the day that this travesty will be as unthinkable as slavery. God bless you.
Please give a warm welcome to the Senior Specialist for Communications and Public Affairs at Live Action, Kimberly Bird.
Good morning. I'm Kimberly Bird with Live Action, and I stand alongside our founder and our team, Lila Rose, to defend the preborn and expose the truth about abortion. Here we are in the heart of our nation's capital, just days after the Dobbs anniversary, the historic victory that toppled Roe v. Wade. The fall of Roe was a turning point, but the abortion industry still profits from destroying lives. That's why we continue to fight until every single child in this nation and across the globe has their God-given right to life recognized and protected. Congress must act now to defund Planned Parenthood, which performs nearly 400,000 abortions a year and pockets 800 million of our tax dollars. They must defend not for 1 year, but indefinitely. They're not providing health care. They're killing babies and pushing harmful trans drugs on teens. Congress, enough is enough. Defund death and defend life. This year, Iowa, Kansas, Idaho, and Indiana have boldly passed laws ensuring students learn the miracle of prenatal development through Live Action's Baby Olivia. This medically accurate animation reveals the breathtaking beauty of life in the womb, planting seeds to uproot the abortion industry's lies and cultivate a culture of life in our nation. Through resources like Baby Olivia, Live Action shows America what Planned Parenthood doesn't want us to see, the truth, what abortion does, and who it destroys. Science confirms what our hearts know. Life begins at conception. That's why every child in America, born or preborn, should have equal protection under the 14th Amendment, which says, "No state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws." Yet our laws in this nation turn a blind eye to the humanity of the preborn child, denying them the right to life as promised by our Constitution. Friends, we must hold Congress accountable to defund Planned Parenthood. We must continue to fight for the day when every preborn child is protected under the law, and we must enshrine their humanity, end this injustice, and fulfill America's promise of life and liberty for all. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage author, speaker, and Blueprint for Life Coalition representative, Isabel Brown.
What a beautiful day to be gathered together in celebrating life. And I want us to really spend a moment today. I know everyone's hot and sticky and miserable here this summer, but I want us to take a moment to reflect on what that truly means to celebrate and champion life. It's something that I think sometimes we forget to stop and engage with within the pro-life movement. Sometimes we all get so busy fighting on defense against the seemingly infinitely powerful abortion lobby, Planned Parenthood, and the growing anti-family culture that we've been surrounded by for far too long in America. Rightfully so, to fight on defense. It is our duty and our obligation for humanity to stand up and fight hard against these evil lies that have stolen nearly 70 million people from our country alone throughout the past 50 years. 1/3 of our generation within Gen Z. Broken 70 million families apart and left 70 million women vulnerable for the rest of our lives. However, as we've seen many, many victories throughout these past few years, the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the re-election of the most pro-life president in our lifetime, and more, it's become increasingly apparent to me now that we have to shift our energy, not just to fight on defense against abortion and against groups like Planned Parenthood, but to fight on offense for families and for life. We know for a fact that since the Dobbs decision and the overturning of Roe v. Wade, nearly 30,000 babies have been born annually who otherwise would not have been. And we have a moral obligation to support these babies and their moms and dads to build a culture of life in the United States of America. I've worn a lot of hats over the years, and if you've been following me, maybe you've seen some of those. Student, activist, content creator, speaker, author, and more. But this year, I have been incredibly privileged to don a new hat, mom. And it has been by far the most important role I will ever embrace in my life. Throughout my pregnancy this last year, it became increasingly apparent to me just how much the powers that be do not want you, especially you young women, not to have babies. They do not want you to have children. Just before Election Day, the Los Angeles Times even ran a headline, "It is almost shameful to want to have children." Virtually every influencer, every left-wing politician, every Hollywood production, our education institutions, and sadly sometimes even the church is sounding together with a resoundingly loud voice that motherhood and fatherhood is not worth pursuing, that it will hold you back, it will make you miserable, it will destroy your life forever, and it's something we need to leave behind in the past. This message has led to the all-out erasure of women in the process, calling us birthing people or chest feeders, which I'm literally not exaggerating, has actually led to the lactation of men using pharmaceutical drugs so that men can feed their babies juice or something. I don't even know what you would call that. In the process to destroy motherhood and its beauty entirely. 8 weeks ago on Wednesday, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, my baby Isla, who is somewhere back here with her dad. And just as my beautiful friend Riley Gaines said, this fight for women, for motherhood, and for femininity has never been more important to her. I felt a resounding call to action the moment they placed my daughter on my chest for the first time, knowing it is now more important for us than ever to support women, to support motherhood, to redefine womanhood in a year and a culture that refuses to answer that question, but also to foster a larger culture of family and the beauty of pregnancy and motherhood. But we also need institutional support, not just from us, but from the powers that be behind us, to support the American family as well. Right behind us on Capitol Hill, our members of Congress are currently in the thick of debating the one big, beautiful bill, which is not just wildly important legislation to advance a conservative approach to governance, but is explicitly pro-family and pro-child legislation to support moms, dads, and babies to become the foundation of American society again. The One Big Beautiful Bill provides a tax credit to employers that offer on-site childcare and lactation rooms and is set on expanding the child tax credit to support moms as we carry our babies through pregnancy and after birth as we help our babies grow, to help us afford the journey of preparing for our baby's arrival and their immediate care after birth. Today, we call on lawmakers to pass the reconciliation bill with overwhelming bipartisan support and to take that message and that legacy forward to advance other legislation to make sure that families have an opportunity to succeed in our society again. Today, I want to share with you that having just gone through the experience of birth and right now in the thick of what they often call the newborn trenches, I have never felt more called to purpose and mission in my life than serving my family as a wife and mom. There is nothing in the world like the feeling of looking your baby girl in her eyes the moment they place her on your chest for the first time, or seeing your husband rock his baby girl to sleep. There is nothing more humbling or beautiful than feeding your baby in the middle of the night, even when you're running on very little or absolutely no sleep. There's nothing like seeing her smile at you when you wake her up for the first time, or to feel her little hands wrapped around your finger, holding on so tight you can't even imagine it. No matter what the loudest voices in our society are screaming at you day in and day out, motherhood, and my husband can tell you too, fatherhood, is perhaps the most beautiful vocation of all that is still worth pursuing. No matter what happens behind us on Capitol Hill, in the White House, in the Supreme Court, in your state legislatures, as much as it is important for us to continue advocating for them to fight on our behalf, I want you to remember that we all have the capacity to live and fight on offense ourselves by simply being willing to pursue family. So let's work together to make the foundation of our culture the American family again and make some more babies in the process. Thank you so much.
And now for our closing remarks, please put your hands together for a woman who boldly left Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry to start the redemptive, life-affirming organizations And Then There Were None and ProLove Ministries. Ladies and gentlemen, Abby Johnson.
Woo, it's freaking damp out here. Yeah? Who's sweating? All right, okay. Hello. It is so good to be here with all of you again today, and it's good to be here in front of our nation's capital because, well, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood. And that's exciting. And you know, it's been 3 years since Roe was overturned. I would really like to stand up here and tell you that that was like the winning, that was like the checkmate in our game of chess. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, especially since I'm the last speaker. But I want to tell you that that actually wasn't it. That wasn't the enormous success that we hoped it was going to be, that we thought it was going to be. Abortion rates are up across our country. I live in the state of Texas, where abortion is supposedly illegal, but abortion rates are up in the state of Texas. Chemical abortion is available in all 50 states. In fact, I have a video coming out soon that shows you in under 10 minutes, I was able to go online. I was able to put in my name. I was able to put in a fake last menstrual cycle date. I have a hysterectomy. I don't even have a cycle anymore. I was able to put in all this information, and in less than 10 minutes, I was able to have abortion pills that would destroy the life of a child, come to my house in the state of Texas. They came to me in 2 days. And they gave me enough pills to actually commit 3 abortions. And I didn't even have to pay for it. I told them I didn't have any money, and they sent me the pills for free. That wasn't the win that we had hoped for. Because you know what? We're not going to win this fight by politics. We're going to win this fight by battling for souls. We're going to win this fight by battling for hearts and minds. Honestly, I had two of the best moments last night at the gala. Had nothing to do with the event, actually. Not really. One of the best moments of my life last night, or one of the best moments of the event last night, was giving an award to Myra Rodriguez, who was a former abortion clinic director for 3 facilities in Arizona, who now fights alongside of us against Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry. She actually works now for And Then There Were None. Another highlight of the night for me last night was talking to one of the protesters that was out in front of the event last night. His name is Mike. Great guy. Super great guy. I think Mike's here tonight. There's Mike. Right there. Mike's back there. Mike is a great guy. Hey, Mike. Mike's a great guy. And it was one of the best moments. It probably was the best moment last night for me. Because when I see people like Mike, I see a person who's actually, he's full of passion. He perseveres. He was there last night. He's here today. He believes he's doing the right thing. He has a personal story. about why he believes the way that he does. We talked for a long time about his beliefs. And I believe that people like Mike are just on the verge of conversion. The best thing about Mike is that he listens. The best thing that you can do is listen. Don't argue, don't fight, don't yell, don't belittle people who think differently than you. Just listen. We all have stories, we all have experiences. I wouldn't be standing here on this podium today if the people on the sidewalk in front of my clinic had belittled me, had cursed at me, had gotten in my face and yelled at me, had told me I was stupid, had told me I was foolish, had told me I was a loser, had stood outside my clinic and yelled that I was a murderer. I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today without people who stood outside of my clinic and told me that they cared about me, told me that they wanted better for me, told me that they wanted to help me. And that's the best part of our movement. The best part of our movement is that we care for people like Mike, that we care for the women who are walking in to those abortion clinics, and that we care for the people who work in those abortion clinics. For a long time, I felt like I was kind of the lone voice, right? I was the lone voice out here saying, guys, this is happening in these clinics. And the pro-choice movement would say, no, it's not. That was just your clinic. It was just a bad thing. It was just a bad clinic, bad clinic, bad clinic. And I said, I don't think so. I think this was happening everywhere. So I started, and then there were none. And a lot of people in the pro-life movement said, that's ridiculous. Abortion workers aren't going to leave. They're not going to leave. They're not going to come into the pro-life movement. And I said, well, that makes me want to do it even harder. Don't doubt the power of God. Don't doubt the power of conversion. And now it's not just me. I'm not just like the Lone Ranger out here. Now we're 750 strong. And I've got 2 of those women here with me today. Come on up. Naomi worked in a clinic in Tampa, Florida. Let me tell you a story about Naomi. It's all true.
Probably.
Naomi worked at a clinic in Tampa, Florida. Everybody calls it the big purple building. It's Barney purple, okay? We kept getting these workers coming out of Tampa, Florida. And they kept telling us, our boss, Naomi, our boss, Naomi, our boss, Naomi. They would say, you got to pray for Naomi. These workers that were coming out, and they were coming to us. And they would say, y'all, our boss, Naomi, she's a nice lady. You got to pray for her. She needs to leave too. Our boss, Naomi, needs to leave. So we were praying for her for months. We ended up having 8 of her employees come out of the clinic and come through, and then there were none. And we were praying for Naomi to leave. And then one day, guess what? We got a call from Naomi. And now she's one of us. And you know what? Now she works for us. Now she's an employee for And Then There Were None. My goal is to pack the staff of And Then There Were None with former abortion workers. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right, let me tell you about Monica Klein. This is Monica Klein. Monica Klein used to be an educator for Planned Parenthood. She used to go into schools. She used to go out on the streets. She used to educate people. about Planned Parenthood, about sex ed. She should provide sex ed. Perverse, right? Perverse sex ed. You know what she does now? She teaches people about, I don't know, what would you say? She teaches people about the importance of family, about the importance of keeping your integrity, about being virtuous men and women. How amazing is that? These are just two of our 750 women who stand strong, who are telling the world that this is not just a one-off. My clinic is not just a one-off. This is a systemic issue that is plaguing our country. So yeah, we want to defund Planned Parenthood, but that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep going. When that vote goes through, and I believe it will, we're going to go on our social media and we're going to go, yay, Planned Parenthood was defunded. Let's get back to work. I mean, I can tell you, that's how it's going to be for me. I'm not going to be like dancing a jig for years, like, whoa, we defunded Planned Parenthood, I'm going to dance for 3 years. No. I'm going to be like, all right, good. We defunded Planned Parenthood. Check the box. Let's go. We're going to celebrate this win, but then we're going to move forward. We're going to keep moving forward in faith, because you know what? There's only one side that wins, and it's us. Thank you all so much. God bless you. Keep fighting. Keep winning. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this National Celebrate Life rally. We hope you are inspired to be a voice to defund the abortion industry and defend life and life-affirming policies and resources. If you are here to pick up diapers for yourself or for others, please line up in front of the size diapers you're in need of. A volunteer in a red t-shirt will assist you. Thank you, and God bless.